Hey y'all, this is Larry Bird and welcome to my kitchen. So today we're going to talk about the fall, my favorite time of year. Spring, the summer's ending, temperatures are dropping, there's a chill in the air, sort of. I'm in Atlanta, so it's going to be a little while before we get cold. But also college football's back. You have parties for birthdays and for college football. And when I have a party at my house, I always like to have a pot of something on the stove. Typically it's going to be some sort of soup or stew. And one of the favorites of my family and friends is something called cheeseburger chowder. And that's what we're going to work on today. It's going to be a party-sized recipe of cheeseburger chowder. Okay, let's make some cheeseburger chowder. We're starting by browning about 3 pounds of ground beef in a nice sized stock pot. As I said before, this is going to be a party-sized recipe. Now, one thing to keep in mind in this particular one, it's not the healthiest thing in the world, but man, oh man, is it good. You're going to really enjoy it, even though it's really not very good for you. We'll go ahead and continue browning the beef and be back in a moment. Okay, so now we're going to saute some onions. This is about 1.5 cups of onions chopped. We're going to saute these for a minute or two until they get soft. Okay, the onions are ready. We're going to add in our carrots. This is some of the little baby carrots, about 1.5 cups sliced thin. We're going to add our garlic, which is about 4 cloves of 4 large cloves of garlic minced. And we're going to add our spices, which is 2 teaspoons of basil and 2 teaspoons of oregano. And we're going to cook this for another 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, we've added in about 6 cups of chicken broth. So now we have our carrots, celery, or onions, spices, garlic, chicken stock, and beef in the pot. And now we're going to add our potatoes. This is about a little less than 3 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes that have been peeled and diced into cubes. Stir that in. And now we want to bring this up to a boil and let it cook for about 10-15 minutes till the potatoes get soft. Okay, it's starting to boil now. So we're going to put the lid on it. Stir it one more time before we do that to make sure nothing's sticking. And with this, while this is cooking, we'll have to stir it occasionally just to be sure nothing sticks again. We're going to cover it and reduce it down to a simmer and let it cook for about 15 to 20 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to move over here to the other side to make a roux that's going to be used to thicken the soup. We're going to also introduce you to something else, another handy dandy tool that I found from a company called Trivae, Trivae. It's this really cool little gadget that the primary use for it is as a lid holder. You can take the lid off your pot and place it on the Trivae, just like that, so it's out of the way. Do your stirring of your pot. Again, we want to make sure that it's not sticking, and put your lid back on. A really cool, handy dandy little kitchen tool. Okay, here we go making our roux. So the butter is melted. We're going to add in our flour. It's about 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour. And this is a non-stick pan that I'm using here, which I think is probably wise to use that with this particular application. And we're going to use a whisk that has rubber on the end of it so it doesn't damage the non-stick pan. But in the meantime, what you have to do is pretty much whisk this continuously to combine the flour with the butter. It's going to get real gooey, but just keep doing this for basically what it'll do. It'll cook off the flour texture, the flour flavor, and just leave the roux. And we're going to do this until it gets a little bit darker than this, kind of a semi-blonde. But the key thing here is to keep stirring this because you do not want it to burn. Okay, now, I think we're right where we want it. Starting to get a little bit of a light brown color going now. So let's start adding our condensed milk, or no, evaporated milk. Be careful, don't do condensed milk. It's sweet, and that's definitely not what you want here. So 2 cans, added slowly. Add just a little bit to begin with, and stir it in. And keep doing that, adding small amounts as you go, because it's going to get, it's going to get real sticky and gooey here as you start with this before it actually smooths out and turns into a nice smooth paste or nice that we'll add to the soup. Like I said, just do this slowly, little bits at a time, making sure to fully combine it at each addition. Again, the key at this point is to completely combine it at each time you add a little bit more of the evaporated milk. Just keep stirring it until it combines back in again, and just keep doing that. Keep repeat. Rinse and repeat. One can in, one to go. The key thing here is to keep whisking until it is completely smooth and all of the evaporated milk has been absorbed by the roux. Okay, now we'll move us back over to the other side. Okay, we're going to take the lid off again. Use our tray to hold the lid. Give it a good stir. Now we're going to add that roux into the soup, which can be a bit challenging. Use a spatula and just pour this into the soup. And get that stirred in. Now we want to bring that back up to a boil so the roux will thicken the soup because that's when it actually takes effect when it boils. All right, it's coming to a boil now. Reduce the heat back down again. Let it simmer for a little bit longer. And then we're going to add the final ingredient, which is the cheese. And this is the part of it where I said earlier that this is not the healthiest recipe in the world. I'm about to show you why. But it's what makes it so great. I'm going to add a whole block of Velveeta cheese that I've chopped into squares, which by the way is not that easy to do, minus any of the small little bits that I ate along the way. Put the whole thing in there. And stir it until it's fully melted. Okay, here it is, our finished product. A nice party-sized recipe of cheeseburger chowder. Yum, yum. Well, time to taste. Got a nice bowl of it here. A lovely, wonderful cheeseburger chowder. It's going to be really, really good. So that's really cheesy, really delicious, great game time, party time recipe for you and your friends. Hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your cheeseburger chowder next time you make it. Well, thanks again for watching this episode of Larry Bird Kitchen. Hope you enjoyed it. That cheeseburger chowder is a great recipe for party time, especially during the winter, the fall and the winter season as temperatures start to cool off. Absolutely fantastic. If you like it, please hit that like button. And if you so desire, please subscribe to my YouTube channel at YouTube/@LarryBirdKitchen. And until next time, have a great day.